In this tutorial, I'll be showing you guys how to do a traditional ball fade with my twist on the enhancements. So right here, I'm just spinning my canvas around and just letting you guys see it before. The first step I do when fading, especially ball fades, is I take my Andes Cordless TI liners and I make my first guideline. This guideline right here is a little bit higher than I usually do mine because I decided to cut the C cups off or the curves. But right here I'm just going against the grain on the bottom of that line, and I'm trying to make it as bald as I can. The second step I do when fading is I take my clippers with the lever all the way open and I make my second guideline. I go up about another inch and I don't take it up no more higher than an inch. The specific clippers that I'm using right now are my JBL Fresh Fades, and I'm just playing with the lever, trying to smoothen up that line. I'm closing it all the way and I'm putting it in the middle, and I'm just flicking at that bottom line. That's what I do when I fade. I take the guidelines out as I go. So right here I'm brushing and I'm going back at that bottom line. The key is to play with the lever. Don't ever stay in one position. If you feel as though you're not cutting nothing, then close the lever. As you can see, the line is slowly starting to come out. One thing I always do after I take the ball line out is I go back with a pair of my liners, and the liners that I'm using right here are my retro T-cuts. They're made by Walls, and I'm just going back at that bottom line, trying to get it as blurry as I can, because when fading, that bottom line is what really makes the fade. If it's not out, then the fade's gonna look sketchy. And so basically I'm just saying, if your guidelines aren't smoothly transitioned, then what's the point in fading, honestly? Right here, I got my number 2 guard on my Cordless Seniors, and I'm going against that top line. You guys can't really see it, but I'm trying to debulk it before I start fading. My client really prefers his haircut to be low, so I put my 1 guard on my Cordless Seniors, and I'm going with the grain, cutting in the way the wave pattern is and brushing. I still have my 1 guard on, and I close my lever all the way up, and I'm going up about another inch, and I'm making my 3rd guideline. I just basically pointed at where I was fading at, and I'm just going over that line a couple more times so I can make my transition a little bit smoother, and I'm brushing after every couple strokes with the clippers. The key when fading is to brush. Right here I put my 1/16 guard on, which is the smallest guard, and as you can see, I'm playing with the lever. I'm showing you guys what I'm doing. As I try to take that line out, I'm playing with the lever, and I'm only attacking that bottom line, and I'm brushing every couple strokes. When fading, the steps are very repetitive. So right here, I'm still using my 1/16, and I'm attacking that bottom line. I believe my lever is closed. Oh yeah, I just closed my lever right there, and I'm still attacking that bottom line, and I'm brushing. I'm telling y'all, if you ain't got a brush or a comb in your hand when fading, when cutting hair, period, then I don't know what's wrong with y'all, honestly. But the steps, like I said, they're very repetitive, so I'm just still doing the same steps until I reach my results. After I took the 1/16, I went back with my JBL Fresh Fades, and I have no guard on it, and I'm attacking that line that the 1/16 made. The line is slowly starting to come up, but I'm still using no guard, and I'm brushing every other second, and I'm going at that line. Like I said, it's slowly starting to come out. It's all a process. You just gotta be patient with it and trust your tools. But once again, it's not the tools, it's you, honestly. To me, that line is no longer visible. So the next step I did is I took my 1.5 and the lever's all the way open, and I'm going out that top line and I'm debulking it. Of course, I play with the lever midway and close and open, and I'm trying to take that top line out as easy as I can. And fading, you really don't want to make it hard for yourself, but I got a lot of steps to follow. In other videos, I'll show you guys other methods, but I like to take every guideline out as I go, like I said. But the 1.5 is doing its job and debulking it. I'm starting to go a little bit higher with my lever all the way open because I debulked the bottom of the fade already. Right here, I just pointed at that line I gotta take out, and I put my 1 guard on there and the lever's all the way open. And I'm just taking short strokes at that top line. As you can see in the back, it's already starting to soften up. Still using my 1 guard, I'm just smoothing up the fade a little bit more. As you can see, it's starting to slowly get blurry, but it's not all the way there. So right here, I put my 1/16 back on, which is the 0 in other clippers, and I pointed at where I had to take out, and I'm just flicking at that line and brushing. Right here, I'm doing the same thing I was using my JBLs for, and the lever's all the way open, and I'm just doing a little bit more detail work on the bottom of the fade. I use the corners of the blade because I don't want to put the full teeth of the blades on a fade because I don't want to make another line that I don't need. So as you can see, I'm using the corners of my blade, and I'm just flicking at that bottom line. When fading, for me, I usually keep the hair on the bottom of the neck. For some reason, I could just fade better with it there because I could visualize the fade more in depth for some reason. When cutting waves, I always apply some type of mousse or hold just so they can hold the wave in place, especially when I'm about to shape up. And right here, I apply some spritz, and I'm using my blow dryer and brushing the hairline. I'm prepping it for the shape up. I always start my shape ups from the front, so I face my client's head towards me, and I start from the middle, and I either go from the left or to the right. Right here, I started from the left and I made my way to the right. And there's no need for me to dig in because my clippers are already sharp. so they're gonna do the job for me. So I'm just tapping and going and brushing. Like I said, there's no need for me to really dig in. I'm doing the same step on the right side I was just doing. I'm just tapping and going.
Get on the vibe.
I do my natural lineup. I always use some enhancements if my clients prefer it, and of course every client that comes to me prefers it. So right here I'm using my airbrush compressor, and I use a mixture of Kiss Express hair dye and alcohol, and I'm just applying it with a regular business card and spraying that a couple feet back. As you can see, I'm not spraying too much. And the last step, I always use the razor. So right here, I'm stretching the skin and I'm using my straight razor. And I'm making my lineup a little bit more sharper. The key when using the razor is to stretch the skin. If you don't stretch the skin, you might cut your client.